Right then guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you're all having a good Monday. It is the day after Newcastle's first game of the season where we lost against West Ham 4-2. You know what? Same old Newcastle. What a great first half. What a rubbish second half. But today I'm bringing you the latest podcast of Behind the Leazes with me, Liam, Adam and Andy. We did it last night straight after the game, and we do these live every Sunday night over on the Tyne TV YouTube channel. So I will put the link of that in the description if you want to watch us live. This Sunday coming after the Aston Villa game you can do, but as always I'm posting the full highlights for you here. It's a match review. Again, we've got some good and some bad to talk about, so I hope you enjoy it as always, and I'll catch you later.
Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Behind the Leazes podcast, the official podcast on the local TV network covering all things Newcastle United. And of course, it is the opening weekend of the Premier League. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Get your questions in, get your opinions in about the match. Unfortunately, Newcastle losing 4-2 after a bit of a valiant effort in the first half and then crumbling in the second half. Usual suspects here with me this evening. We've got Rob, Adam and Andy. Rob, I'll start with you, mate. How's it going?
Well, like you say, I was feeling a lot better at half-time today. It's just a shame the game couldn't end then. I mean, as I say, I know we'll talk about it in a minute, but it was good to be back. I mean, seeing the lads before, it was a Sunday. I'd rather it was on a Saturday, you know, the classic 3 o'clock kickoff. But meeting up with the lads beforehand, seeing people I've not seen in, 18 months or whatever it is, having those connections again was really good. And then, to go through the first half and have some decent football and being up at half time, I'm thinking it's a good day. Unfortunately, 15 minutes into the second half, that had all gone down the drain. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, coming home, I was pretty unhappy. And a few hours later now, I'm all right. But, yeah, it was good to be back, I'll say that.
Oh, well, it's good to hear that it was good to be back, but I'm sure a bit of a deflating feeling. Adam, we'll come to you next. How are you doing, mate? And, of course, you were at the game. How good was it seeing the capacity crowd back again at St James's Park?
Well, I mean, just about a full stadium, St James's Park. It's weird. I didn't think it would take 2 years to get back at this point. But no, it was good being back, especially when you scored in the first 5 minutes. I was confident in the game. I was confident in the first half, but I'll talk about it in a bit. But defensively, I mean, I've got some things I want to say about that back line. But in general, though, the team, I'm just happy to be back. Away games next week. I can't wait. It's football has returned. And throughout the weekend, like all the Premier League matches have been good to be fair. So, yeah, I'm very happy with obviously how things are at the minute.
Yeah, it was, I think, a great first half. The second half, maybe not as good. Andy, we'll come to you, mate. Hello. You said that you watched the game on the telly. Maybe a bit fortunate after the second half.
Armchair supporter the day, and thank God. Second half just felt a bit, but first half, yes, West Ham did have more ball, but counter-attacking will looked great, and I think that's where we are going to be good this season. But just I haven't got a clue what got sent to the team. I think to come out and just that lackluster of a performance was just. I mean, for the two that were in the ground, but bless them, because it was just awful. It was just flat.
I think the 2 and the 52,000 that were also in the ground as well. It is a bit of an odd feeling, isn't it? Going ahead at half time after, maybe worrying all pre-season about what's going to happen. Feeling quite good after the first half and then the second half. Such a terrible performance. Rob, I'll come to you just on, what you thought of NUFC's first half and the performance overall.
I mean, again, like I say, I got home and I was pretty foaming, and I could easily sit here for the next half an hour and just say how bad we were. And, we had some really poor moments in today's game. But, I want to try and stay positive to a degree. It is the first game of the season. And if I'm being honest, how do I think Newcastle are going to do this season? I would say hopefully not get relegated, and at best try and push into 15th, 14th, 13th, So am I going to go to St James's Park and expect us to win every game? No. Was I pretty hyped up and hopeful for today because it was the first one back? Yes. And I think that's why it makes it just that little bit harder to take. But, you know, St. Max looks good. I mean, we're relying on him so much. That's the thing. It's like a positive and a negative. He looks so good on the ball, and you can see whenever anyone passes it, they look up, look where he is, and just give him the ball. So even our own players know what he means to our team. Obviously, the negative of that is he's got 3 men marking him at all times. I thought Wilson looked good again, but as Andy and I've no doubt Adam will talk about as well, defensively. I mean, you know, you've got Shaw and Lascelles sat on the bench. Lascelles is the team captain, and Kraft's getting a game ahead of him. So I don't know what Brucey's seeing that we can't see, but I thought Clark was poor. I don't want to have a go because it's one game, and in the past, Clark's been very solid for us. I thought Richie put a great ball in for the goal, but defensively, possibly one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. But again, I'm a big fan of Richie normally. I think he puts a lot of effort in, but whatever reason today, that defensive line was bad. We played 5 at the back and conceded 4, so that is no good at all.
Yeah, I was interested to see the 5 at the back, and especially Kraft playing a centre-back as well. You know, when you have 2 fit centre-backs on the bench, what is the point of playing a man who usually plays at right-back? Adam, I'll come to you next. Just in regards to the game, you know, what do you think of the performance from the Mags?
Well, I thought the first 50, 60 minutes was actually all right. I thought attacking-wise, I thought we were pretty good, to be honest, at times. We created a lot of chances in the game. Obviously, Wilson, St. Maximin, we see this every single week. Both of them were quality today, especially with the first goal. I mean, St. Maximin just completely spun an England international inside out. It was incredible to watch. But yeah, like Rob said before, defensively, I mean, in the 10 years I've probably watched Newcastle, I actually had one of the worst defensive displays I've ever seen. It was shocking at times. I felt like we just gifted them literally pretty much all the goals. I mean, I don't know which one I thought was the worst. I know the 4th one was pretty much the end of the game anyway, but the 2nd one I thought was quite bad. Antonio was touchy, he took it to the byline. I felt like we should have closed him down. The 3rd one, obviously, Richie, I mean, I don't think it was a pen, to be honest, but still, he shouldn't be sticking a foot in like that. He could have easily got with the ball. And in general, I mean, we just kind of threw the game away. I really thought West Ham were there for the take today. I mean, I don't know about winning the match. I think we definitely could have got a point, especially with how we played in the first half. But yeah, it's just how football goes. Some matches will go against you. Some matches you'll just bottle. That's how it is. That's how it works. And as Newcastle, we're not Man City. We're not Liverpool. We're not going to win every single game. We've got to accept that. But yeah, I think in terms of today, there are some positives to take out of it. But the second half was just terrible, and I can't defend that at all.
I'd love to know what Steve Bruce's team talks are. You know, I'd love to be a fly in the room at half-time, especially during that game. Andy, we'll come to you next on this. Obviously, like you said, you're an armchair fan today, but I know you're not a massive fan of the players like Jeff Hendrick, John Joe Shelby, but sum up their performances in a few words. Obviously, John Joe Shelby, not Jeff Hendrick, he didn't play.
Yeah, Shelby, I say this every time. Shelby captain just will outline that performance today. I think when you've got someone so lazy as Shelby, I mean, he's the only creative player in that centre at the minute, and that's a massive problem. And I mean, to bring a centre mid off and then bring Ryan Fraser on instead. What formation are we switching to there? When we still had 5 centre halves, then are we just playing Hayden alone in the middle and then trying the 4 up front? It's so confusing to watch. And then the Kraft and all. It's criminal that he gets to call himself a footballer, to be honest. I don't know what on earth was going on there. I think it was the 4th. I think it might have been Kraft just let Antonio just run. Didn't pressure him anything. But that being said, Murphy, the penalty was so unlucky for that to be a pen. I mean, after just watching the Man City Tottenham game, and things were meant to be harder this season, meant to be those decisions were meant to be harder to give. And the fact he hasn't even gone and checked VAR, he's been told it's fine in his ear. It's not a penalty in any circumstance whatsoever. He gets the ball. It might have been 4 houses went down, but he's made an absolute theatrical performance of it. And at the end of the day, that penalty cost us that game because the heads just went going 1-0, going 1 goal down, and the heads going like that. It's just not acceptable. We need a manager that's going to be able to lift the team, not just let them feel sorry for themselves and then go and concede another.
And you mentioned the penalty. Of course, Freddie Woodman got his first start this season and the first start in the Premier League, actually. You know, what do you think of his performance? Of course, he saved the penalty, then conceded straight afterwards, conceded 4 goals. But do you think it was a good showing from the keeper?
Fantastic. Really, really good. obviously it's good. I think it's one position that we have got actual good depth and competition in is the keeping. And Freddie Woodman, I said last week, is more than deserved to have a start in the Premier League. Was great save on penalty and unlucky with a rebound. I thought Richie should have probably came in with Souček quicker, just let him run in for the rebound. I mean, there's not lots you can do when it comes to rebounds, but it was just massively disappointing in the second half.
I was very surprised to hear that Souček had scored the rebound on the penalty. I thought with the pace of Souček, someone would have been able to catch him, but obviously not. Rob, I'm coming back to you on this one. Callum Wilson scored. I believe, who was it that scored as well? Jacob Murphy.
Murphy, aye.
Callum Wilson, I think, his first game was in number 9 in front of a big crowd. Do you reckon he could replicate that again and maybe score a few more of them?
Yeah, I mean, again, like we say, it's the first game back, and as easy as it could be to sit here and slate everyone. And to be honest, as I say, the defence, I think, really needs looking at, especially if that's Bruce's formation and his plan for the season. I think defensively we were poor, but let's try and take a couple of positives. Getting Wilson on the score sheet in the first game back is big for us, because he's the man we are desperate for to do a good job this season. And if he can take a bit of confidence with that and take it into the next few games, it's going to be big. We've got to get 15 plus goals at him this season. I can't see anyone else scoring. Again, though, like Andrew said, Brucey making his substitutions. Gale scored 2 in the pre-season friendly. With 2 goals down, let's give him a go. I still think Gale's going to be the one. And again, with time to go, I would still say we need to bring someone in through the door. But yeah, give Wilson his dues. He got the goal. Very good header. And it was a good header from Murphy as well, to be fair. I think he found himself in a bit of an unfamiliar situation and almost just nodded it across the goal into the far corner. So yeah, there were some good moments. Just it was unfortunate there was a few more bad ones as well.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, I think. But I'm glad to see Callum Wilson getting on the score sheet straight away. I think that's what you need with a striker, a bit of momentum, to score straight off. He loves a goal against West Ham, and once again, he showed why he does. Adam, coming to you on this one next. Joe Willock. Oh, I'll take you off the screen, Rob. Joe Willock.
Thank you.
a new signing announced on Friday evening, unveiled to the crowd this afternoon. The crowd was absolutely electric, wasn't it? How good is it to obviously know that we have signed a really good player in Joe Willock, a proven player for Newcastle United in Joe Willock? And how much do you reckon, if he was playing today, he could have had an impact?
Well, in terms of Joe Willock, I mean, let's be real. Every single Newcastle fan, even Steve Bruce himself, has been saying for months, we need to sign Joe Willock. He's our number 1 target. And eventually we got it done. I know people that love him saying play today, but I'll be honest, I felt like today we didn't really need Willock. I think even if Willock played, it wouldn't have changed much because of just how bad the defence was. Yes, you could argue that you held out in front of the back 5, but really, I actually think going forward we were pretty good. So, in terms of today, I don't think he's the biggest concern. I think the defence itself, I don't think you picked the right defenders today, and the ones that did play, obviously let the manager and the players down. So, yeah, obviously I would like to see him play today, but I was confident regardless whether Willock was playing or not, and obviously the team didn't perform how it should have. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play because, again, 8 goals in 14 games last season. I mean, it's just stupid for a centre midfielder, especially at his age as well. So you see how things get on with Joe Willock, but I've got better concerns in Joe Willock not playing today, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think the big concern is the defence. Andy, I'll come to you on this one. Obviously, it was, I think, an interesting choice to play back 5, especially when we were playing like a 4-3-3 towards the end of last season with Willock in. With the addition of Willock and, seeing how bad I think playing a back 5 with, the likes of Kraft in there, Clark in there, how much do you reckon should change looking towards the future?
Well, our biggest problem is formation. I think you look around the Premier League, there's a lot of other clubs who've got a constant, what they're going to play, and you almost know what their likely starting 11 is going to be. That's not been the case for us for about 2 years. You don't know who's going to start, you don't know what formation we're going to play. And I can imagine it's pretty hard for the players as well, not knowing week in, week out where we're going to play. I mean, fair enough, in the Euros you saw Southgate done it smartly, line back 5 against Germany, other teams who was playing formations to match them. But I think it's just so mix and match. It's frustrating. I can imagine how frustrating it could be for the players. And bringing Willock in the 5 formation, you play him. I think you would have to play 5-2-1-2 and just have him behind Maxi and Wilson. But then it's the 2 that are behind him that are the problem. They just get lost. I think Shelby can run for about 40 for a half, and then he's just done. Hayden was coming forward a lot today, and he's a defensive midfielder. He shouldn't have to be coming forward because he's the player. You're sitting in front of your defence. But when you've got someone like Shelby that's just getting lost in the middle, you don't have that. So it's just, we need a lot more than Willock. Willock's brilliant, regardless, bringing him in, but we need so much more if we're going to compete in any way.
Andy, you mentioned England there. Of course, a coach for England during the Euros was Graham Jones. Of course, Newcastle United's assistant coach, the assistant to Steve Bruce, had quite a big impact, I think, on Newcastle at the end of last season. Do you reckon he had much of an impact today? Do you reckon he sort of got his way in terms of maybe the little sort of politics that goes on between them two?
I can imagine he wants more. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but Callum Wilson's interview with Shearer, he basically called Steve Bruce a fossil. Like he meant how things changed when Graham Jones came in. And I imagine, to be honest, with him being in the England setup, and I imagine it was quite a big pull for Joe coming, him being involved. But
yeah,
just today, God knows what was said at half time. Like, because at half time, you're 2-1 up at home. You've got how many fans around you thinking, right, great, like, team up. I don't know how they came out so just deflated. And it's so flat. The performance in the second half was just, it doesn't give you hope. Like, and I know it's the first game, and Callum Wilson, he's after match interview saying there's still some rusty players and that, but West Ham can go and do that. So I don't know where the excuses are really.
It just makes you think, though, the way that we hit the ground running at the start of last season. You know, what's changed in terms of this season? Because we were playing the exact same team in terms of, you know, obviously Newcastle, West Ham. The teams haven't really changed that much. So, you know, I am sort of left scratching my head at this one. And I still need to watch the highlights of the game to really sort of see, you know, how we're played and everything like that. Coming to Rob once again. So you mentioned it was like a really good sort of experience going back, seeing all your mates and that again.
Yeah.
Going just to watch a game on a Sunday. Talk to us about the crowd. Obviously, it would have been jumping when they were 2-1 up at half time, surely.
The crowd was fantastic, to be fair. It was absolutely packed. You know, it's the Gallagher who gets a good name for the noise, and us sitting the Leazes. It was the whole stadium was on fire when I got there. Willock got revealed 10 minutes before kickoff as well. He came out and gave a little wave to the fans, so obviously that got everyone very excited. And yeah, I honestly do think that the fans made a big difference to the day for that team. I think we looked on it in the first half, and I think a lot of that was from the noise of the crowd. As I say, you know, I think the problem we've got at the minute is we seem to have like an attack or a defend. It was the same with the friendly game, you know, the Norwich game. I said you don't know what Newcastle team's going to turn up. We were rubbish in the first half of the Norwich and then great in the second. We were great in the first half today, rubbish in the second. You know, there is no consistency. I think we need, and you know, we spoke about Willock a moment ago. I think he will definitely be able to help us bridge that gap between having such a low defending back lines and then trying to get that ball to Wilson and St. Max. St. Max at times was literally coming back into our own half alongside our own defenders to get the ball, similar to what Harry Kane does for Spurs, because no one can get the ball to him either. I know he might be moving, but that's basically what St. Max was having to do today. Hopefully Willock will be that link in between. But and I know Andy is saying Jeff Hendrick and Shelby are having a nightmare. Someone needs to run the game. You can't come out at 2-1 and not be in control. We came out and just lost control instantly and conceded 3 goals. There needs to be someone experienced in there. Again, with the fact that we're not playing Lascelles, maybe if someone like him was there, but he's still a youngish lad himself. I think someone like Shelby needs to step up and actually take the reins. I think Hayden tries to do it, but there needs to be more than one or two blokes. There needs to be some voices in the side, because it looked like we were missing them today.
I think that's been a problem with Newcastle United for ages. There's never been a big voice. I think the closest you're going to get now is probably Matt Ritchie. And even then, how much an impact does his voice have on everyone else? I know, once again, the back end of last season, we can talk about that all day, how at the back end of the last season, certain players really helped. Willock, I think Ritchie, when he would come on as an impact sub, he would always help. But today, obviously, it just doesn't seem like it was the case.
Just as I say, we've done the hard work. We were 2-1 up. That's the point where you say, let's not just sit in our own box and kick the ball away. Let's actually try and have a bit of spine to our play and move the ball around a little bit. But there was no one there. And again, what was said at half time that made us... Again, we either attack or defend. As soon as we scored that first goal, 5 minutes in, we just sat off. So was the plan to defend for the next 85 minutes? We only attacked when we were losing or drawing. As soon as we were up, it was defend time again, instead of continuing the momentum and trying to get an extra one or two, like what West Ham did. When they had the momentum, they kept it and they made use of it. When we had the momentum, we almost gave it away and defended again. So, yeah, there's a lot of frustrations there. As I say, I could go on all night. I won't, but I could.
I can tell that you are a bit frustrated about it. I just want to just go back to the crowd as well. At the end of the game, what was the reaction from the crowd? Were there boos, or was there sort of, I don't want to say applause, but like it's first game of the season, but like what can you sort of say to the players whilst you're in the crowd? Like, was there any boos or anything like that at all?
I don't know. I would say it was 50-50. I wouldn't necessarily say there was boos, and I think everyone was deflated. I don't think there was much noise at all, to be honest. I think everyone had done all the singing in the first half, and by the time it came to the end of the second, I think people were ready to get up and go home. There wasn't really too much of a reaction either way, from where I was sat anyway.
All right, I wouldn't want them to be booing the crowd, booing the players, at least in the first game of the season. But we'll see about a couple of games' time whereabouts we're out on the table. Moving on, though, we are going to just talk about transfers briefly. Of course, we spoke about Joe Willock. He's confirmed, signed for Newcastle. Hopefully, is going to play in the next game against Aston Villa away from home. But yeah, there are a couple of targets. Adam, I'll come to you on this one. What's the sort of news on the transfer window front?
In terms of Newcastle, it's pretty quiet now. Obviously, we've spent pretty much the full budget on Joe Willock, so at the most we're going to be getting now is just people for the youth squad and maybe one or two loan signs. That's it, really. I think Joe Willock was the big one. I can't see us doing any more business this window. And that's sad because, I mean, we've got to spend more than £20 million, especially as a Premier League team. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Even you go back a couple of seasons ago, what Steve was his first season in charge, I swear you got to spend like £60-70 million or something. I mean, yes, I know there was no fans in the stadium last season, but still, I mean, the amount of revenue you get from Sky and BT for owning the rights to the Premier League, I mean, we have got more than £20 million. I don't believe that for 1 second. He's definitely pocketing some of that money, Ashley. But I don't get it. Yes, people don't like Steve Bruce. Well, what can you honestly do with £20 million? You need more than that. It's ridiculous for a Premier League team to have that much, especially with a team the size of Newcastle. I mean, we are, a lot of people think, a sleeping giant. And the fact we've only got £20 million to spend on one player. I mean, what can you honestly manage to do? Like, you can't. You need to be able to invest to actually progress the team. But we're not going to progress with £20 million. As simple as that.
And do you reckon there'll be any outgoings?
I wouldn't think so at this point because there's not long left to go. I know Joe Linton said he wanted to leave, but I can't see anyone paying more than £2 million to him. So I don't think he'll be going anywhere. But no, I don't see anyone leaving now. I think we'll stick with the squad we've got now, and we'll see how things go this season.
I think Joe Linton said he wanted to go to a top 6 Premier League club as well.
Listen, I want to kiss Harry on the ground here. It's not going to happen. Nobody wants Joe Linton. Listen, you can't even score 6 goals in the Premier League. I mean, join this big 6. It's not going to happen. I mean, that's someone's not going to happen.
Oh my goodness, Adam, that is brilliant.
That was brilliant. Well done.
That was round of applause for Adam, everyone. That was brilliant. But yeah, Joe Linton saying he does want to leave. I wonder what that'll mean for his season. Then maybe playing with a little bit more motivation. You'd like to hope so, at least. Andy, coming to you as well. There is a player who has been linked to Newcastle United, and they're saying he's days away from signing a deal. You know, paper talk stuff, really. A player called Santiago Munoz So obviously, we've all seen the film Goal, haven't we? So the lead character in Goal was called Santiago Munez. People are saying it is a recreation of Goal now. He's a 19-year-old North American player plays on the wing, just like Santiago Munez. It's basically the same thing in it. Do you reckon this is actually real and we could actually sign this player, or do you think it's just an absolute hoax and it's just a random rumor on social media?
I think it's a hoax. It came about last year as well, saying about this Santiago Munoz, Munoz, I think it is.
Yeah.
I just think it's a load of rubbish again. But I mean, we've been linked with other midfielders, and it's hard to get yourself really excited about it. And how long the Willock one took, and I thought that was going to go askew with, and then just 2 loan signings. Can you get excited about that? At all? It's just there's not much to get excited about. I don't think, especially when how we played in the second half. Honestly, I'd rather us just play 10 people up front because we cannot defend. I just give the ball to Maxi and let him just try and do anything. It's just pointless even trying to defend. Kraft is honestly. I know I went on about Shelby and Hendrick last week. Kraft's me target this week. He's just awful. He's just fair enough. He's a right back playing the position, but he can't even play there. You know what I mean? I don't even think he could be a ball boy, to be honest. He's just shouldn't be on the pitch. And I mean, for Lascelles not to be playing when he's club captain as well, it's just a joke, really.
So what you're saying is that you want to bring back the entertainers?
Out, just anything that's just not that.
Out of retirement, just get them back.
Sure, come on. Get you on a pay-as-you-play deal. I mean, if we do sign this Munoz guy, I was going to say Munez. If we do sign him, then by all means, I'd be happy to bring in another player. But I think it's all a bit quiet, like Adam said on the transfer front. I think it would be nice to bring in maybe 1 or 2 people, but we really are just going to have to see. Not long left in the transfer window, though. About 2 weeks left. There will be some big deals, I think, for other clubs, but not for Newcastle United. Maybe Joe Linton will go, but once again, Adam says he wants to kiss Ariana Grande. These things just might not happen. You never know. We are just going to, before we wrap up the podcast, we are just going to talk about the next game, which is, of course, an away game against Aston Villa. Rob, I'll come to you with this one first. So just like a little sort of preview on the game and what you think the score will be as well.
Well, I think it'll be another tough game. Unfortunately for us, I don't think we're not going to have any easy games this season. I mean, you never do in the Premier League, and after seeing the way we played today, I'm hoping we can take the positives of what we had going forward. Obviously, we will have Willock for that game, which I hope will just give the players themselves a boost, not only just a boost for the fans watching the game, but also one for them in the dressing room. The new lad can play. And then defensively, we just need to sort ourselves out. I mean, one good thing for us is that Grealish isn't there anymore. So at least we haven't got to deal with him, but we are going to have to deal with Danny Ings, who got his first goal. I think it was from the spot yesterday. However, they started their season off with a loss as well, if I'm right. So, 2 teams who are going to want to get some points on the board, and they are the home side. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be easy. If we can defend any way in shape or form, we'll do better than we did today. I'm going to go 1-1. I was confident today. I thought we were going to win it. I mean, it was nice. I mean, I bet it was great for the neutrals to see that many goals in one game. But 1-1. I think I'll take a point now if you offered it to us.
1-1. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Adam, we'll come to you next. A little bit on the next game, and then a score prediction from you as well. You said 3-0 to Newcastle United last time. You were dead wrong, so let's hope you're dead right this time.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit off on that one, I'll be honest. I think in terms of the Villa game, though, well, listen, I'm getting picked up at 8 o'clock in the morning from the bus, so we'd better get someone down there because I was going to be very upset. But the thing with Aston Villa is, I know Newcastle have got a really bad record with Villa Park. I mean, I've been there 3 times. I've let disappoint all 3 times. So hopefully it'll be the fourth time lucky with me going down there. But I think Newcastle have a point to prove. The fact that we conceded 4 at home in the first game of the season, I think will give the players that sort of extra, extra sort of energy to get into the game. I think we're definitely going to start, so it'll give you a boost, hopefully. I'm hoping players like themselves and Shaw will switch to defensive because you can't play that back five again, surely. But obviously, without Greenish and the fact I lost to Watford yesterday, I think, I don't know how it's going to go. Obviously, I always back my team. I'm going to say 2-0 Newcastle, but listen, anything could happen. And the fact is, before West Ham's game, I actually thought Villa would have been the harder match. So, listen, I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm confident. Obviously, best of luck to the team, but yeah, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not going to be easy. I think that might have just been a one-off for Aston Villa last time out. They did, was it 3-1 the loss? Because I think Ings scored a last-minute penalty. 3-2. Wow, I didn't realise it was 3-2. Well, Andy, we'll come to you next. Little preview for the game, and then a score prediction from yourself as well, mate.
Well, look, Villa are the perfect example of how you come up from the Championship and how you go about your Premier League business. They've invested heavily this summer, brought in brilliant players. I mean, no one knew the Danny Ings thing was coming, just done that in a day. Leon Bailey was wanted by some of the big 6 clubs. He's a fantastic sign. I think we are just going to get completely overrun next week, and I'll probably get chipped in it, but I think it'll be 3-0 Villa. I don't think we'll be able to go.
Wow, really? 3-0,
yeah,
not a chance
I don't know
at all.
I don't know if I'm just being dramatic because what happened today, but if we play like we played in the second half, I think we'll be over by Villa.
Really? Wow. I must say we've got different scores here. I think we will learn from our mistakes though. In the next game. I'm going to say it'll just be 2-1 to Newcastle United. I think it will be a close game and we won't play with a back 5. I think it'll be a back 4 this time. But, we just have to hope. But I think we will definitely learn from our mistakes and not play Emil Kraft, not play John Joe Shelby. We'll play Joe Willock. We'll play like a nice 4-3-3 or a 4-3-1-2 with St. Maximin and Wilson up front. But once again, we'll just have to see. But that's on, is it the Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff? Nice one. So I'm sure you'll all just have to watch the highlights and not find a stream. But that is the end of the podcast. However, thanks so much everyone for tuning in. We will be back next Sunday to give you the little recap on. So you didn't say it in words, but you say it on paper. Fair enough. I think we're all thinking what you're thinking. But thanks so much everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next week to give you our recap on the Aston Villa game. Once again, thanks so much for tuning in. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.